The mysterious city of Machu Picchu is no longer occupied. It's been empty for nearly half a millennium.
High in the Andes sits one of the most famous ancient cities on Earth, Machu Picchu. Millions visit it every year, but what if the biggest secrets aren't in the ruins you can see? What if they're buried beneath them? New drone scans, hidden tunnels, and mysterious underground chambers are forcing scientists to rethink everything we thought we knew. Before we dive into the mystery hiding underneath Machu Picchu, let's first look at what everyone can actually see, because honestly, that part alone is already mind-blowing. For a long time, historians believed Machu Picchu was basically the emperor's luxury getaway, a royal retreat tucked away in the clouds. Imagine a private mountain resort where the most powerful people in the Inca world could relax, pray to their gods, and feel a little closer to the heavens, literally. And when you look at the place, that theory kind of makes sense. You've got incredible structures like the Temple of the Sun, elegant royal residences, and dozens of perfectly carved stone buildings that somehow still fit together like a giant ancient Lego set. Then there are the famous agricultural terraces, cascading down the mountainside like massive green staircases designed by someone with a serious obsession for symmetry. But here's where things get even crazier. The Inca built all of this without wheels, without iron tools, and without a written language to record their construction plans. Yet somehow they managed to move stones weighing up to 50 tons across one of the steepest mountain ranges on the planet. Even today, modern engineers, armed with cranes, power tools, and computer models, look at this place and go, wait, how did they actually pull this off? Naturally, people have been trying to figure that out for more than a century. Ever since American explorer Hiram Bingham introduced Machu Picchu to the world in 1911, researchers have been obsessed with studying it. They've analyzed the stones we can see, mapped the rooms we can walk through, and measured every terrace visitors love to photograph. But there was one big assumption everyone made. They thought the real story of Machu Picchu was happening on the surface. What almost nobody seriously considered was what the Inca might have built underneath it. And that assumption is exactly what's starting to change. Then in 2024, something interesting happened. A team of researchers from the University of Warsaw and the Wrocław University of Science and Technology arrived in Peru to study the area around Machu Picchu. But they didn't show up with shovels, brushes, or the usual archaeology tools. They showed up with drones. And attached to those drones was a powerful piece of technology called LiDAR, short for light detection and ranging. Now this is where things start to feel almost like science fiction. Here's how it works. As the drone flies over the landscape, it fires millions of laser pulses every single second toward the ground. Those lasers bounce off everything they hit, trees, leaves, branches, rocks, soil, and then return to the sensor. A computer takes all that information and digitally strips away the vegetation, revealing what's hiding beneath it. In other words, it's basically like giving the jungle a giant X-ray. And when researchers aimed those LiDAR-equipped drones at the dense jungle surrounding Machu Picchu, an area so thick and overgrown that studying it properly had always been nearly impossible, the results were shocking. Hidden beneath the heavy foliage were structures no one knew existed. Deep in the jungle, archaeologists suddenly spotted a series of long-forgotten buildings that had been completely invisible for centuries. The scans revealed around a dozen small structures sitting less than 5 miles away from the main Machu Picchu citadel, near a ceremonial site known as Cochabamba. The discovery was later documented in a study published in the Journal of Archaeological Science. These structures were sitting practically next door to one of the most famous archaeological sites on the planet, and somehow they stayed hidden the entire time. The discovery even shocked the researchers themselves. Lead archaeologist Dominika Sieczkowska couldn't believe how close they were. At one point, she admitted, "They were so close, and we didn't even know they were there." And honestly, that single sentence says everything. 500 years of history, over 100 years of modern archaeology, and somehow an entire complex was hiding right beside Machu Picchu, completely unnoticed. So what exactly did the LiDAR scans uncover? The answer leads us to a site called Cochabamba. And to understand why this discovery is such a big deal, you first have to understand what this place actually was. According to archaeologist Dominika Sieczkowska, Cochabamba functioned as something like a spiritual checkpoint for travelers heading toward Machu Picchu. In other words, not just anyone could stroll into the sacred city in the clouds. Machu Picchu was considered extremely special, almost holy, and only certain privileged people were allowed to go there. But before they could continue their journey, they had to stop at Cochabamba first. And they weren't stopping for snacks or souvenirs. They were stopping for a ritual cleansing. Travelers would undergo a kind of spiritual purification, washing themselves before continuing up the mountain. The idea was simple. If you were going to enter a sacred place, your body and soul had to be purified first. At the center of the site sits a main stone altar, surrounded by 14 ritual baths, which archaeologists believe were used for these purification ceremonies. 14 baths, a ceremonial altar, already impressive on its own. But then the LiDAR scans revealed something nobody expected. Surrounding this ceremonial area was an entire cluster of structures that had been completely hidden by jungle for centuries. The scans showed several previously unknown buildings, along with carefully designed water channels that carried fresh water from a nearby river directly into the complex. In other words, this place wasn't just a quick pit stop, it was fully functional. Researchers identified roughly a dozen small structures, many built in rectangular or circular shapes. According to Sieczkowska, these were most likely residences for staff members, the people responsible for maintaining the baths, managing the site, and assisting the pilgrims passing through. So suddenly, the picture becomes much bigger. Cochabamba wasn't just a ceremonial bathhouse sitting in the jungle. It was a small working community. It had workers, caretakers, water systems, and organized buildings supporting the spiritual rituals taking place there. And the craziest part? All of it sat hidden beneath thick jungle growth for hundreds of years, completely invisible to archaeologists, researchers, and even the thousands of tourists who travel near the area every single year. It was there the entire time, quietly waiting, just 5 miles from Machu Picchu. But here's where the story takes a turn that almost nobody sees coming, because the surprises around Machu Picchu weren't just hiding 5 miles in the jungle. Some of them were hiding directly beneath the city itself. Every year, millions of visitors walk through Machu Picchu, staring in awe at the famous stone temples, terraces, and stairways. It looks like an incredible ancient city sitting on top of a mountain. But what most people don't realize is that the real engineering miracle is actually underground. In fact, researchers estimate that more than 60% of the construction work at Machu Picchu is hidden below the surface. That's right, over half of what the Inca Empire built there is buried beneath the ground. Foundations, stone layers, drainage systems, an entire invisible infrastructure quietly supporting the city above it. And tourists walk over it every day without having a clue. So what exactly is down there? To figure that out, scientists used a combination of ground-penetrating radar, satellite imaging, and drone surveys to map what lies beneath the ruins. What they discovered was something that even modern engineers find hard to believe. The Inca weren't just master builders, they were brilliant hydraulic engineers. Beneath Machu Picchu sits an incredibly advanced system designed to control water, capturing it, redirecting it, draining it, and preventing the entire city from sliding down the mountain.
Rainwater flows through carefully designed stone channels, filters through underground layers of gravel and rock, and is guided safely away from the buildings. And here's the part that sounds almost impossible. That system is still working today. Despite 570 years of rain, storms, and earthquakes, the underground drainage network continues to prevent waterlogging, soil erosion, and structural collapse. It's one of the main reasons the temples and terraces of Machu Picchu are still standing after centuries of abandonment. But the underground story doesn't stop at drainage systems.
Researchers also uncovered evidence of something even more intriguing, a hidden water tunnel connected to one of the most mysterious places in the city, the Temple of the Condor. This temple is one of the most sacred locations at Machu Picchu. The structure itself is shaped like a giant condor, with natural rock formations forming the wings and head of the bird. The complex also includes caves that archaeologists believe were used for important ceremonies and rituals. And running beneath the area is a carefully constructed tunnel designed to transport water directly to the temple. For centuries, visitors walked over those stones without realizing that a hidden system ran beneath their feet. Only recently did geophysical surveys confirm the presence of this underground passage. So the deeper scientists look at Machu Picchu, the clearer one thing becomes. This city wasn't just built on a mountain. It was engineered into it. And now we arrive at the part of the story that makes even the calmest archaeologists pause for a moment and go very, very quiet. Because modern scans of Machu Picchu have revealed something strange beneath the ruins, something researchers are still trying to understand. Using ground-penetrating radar, scientists have detected several underground anomalies below the site. Now, anomalies is a very polite scientific word. What it really means is this: the instruments are detecting empty spaces underground that researchers haven't opened or explored yet. In other words, there may be hidden chambers beneath Machu Picchu. These mysterious signals suggest the presence of tunnels, sealed rooms, or even burial sites that no one has accessed in centuries. And that discovery alone raises a big question. Maybe we don't understand Machu Picchu nearly as well as we thought. One structure in particular is drawing a lot of attention: the Temple of the Sun. This temple is considered one of the most sacred places in the entire Inca city. The Inca Empire believed their most important deity, the sun god Inti, was connected to this very spot. The building itself was constructed with astonishing precision. Twice every year, during the solstices, sunlight passes through carefully placed windows and illuminates specific stones inside the temple in perfect alignment. It's basically an ancient astronomical machine made of stone. But here's the part that has researchers leaning closer to their radar screens. Because directly beneath the temple, the scans are detecting something unusual: voids, spaces, possible rooms. Rooms that may have been sealed for more than 500 years. Several electromagnetic surveys carried out by different research teams have identified underground cavities beneath major structures across Machu Picchu, cavities that don't match any known buildings or tunnels that archaeologists have mapped. So naturally, the big question becomes, what's inside them? Treasure? Sacred objects? Royal burials? Ritual chambers? Right now, nobody knows, and here's why. The Peruvian government and international conservation organizations have placed extremely strict limits on excavation at Machu Picchu. The ruins are incredibly fragile, and digging beneath them could risk damaging the structures that have survived for centuries. So for the moment, those mysterious spaces remain sealed, locked away, untouched. But the technology is clear about one thing: there is something down there, and the fact that we can detect it but can't yet explore it has turned the underground of Machu Picchu into one of the most fascinating unsolved mysteries in modern archaeology. And just when you think the mystery of Machu Picchu couldn't get any stranger, another question appears, and this one has puzzled archaeologists for decades. If Machu Picchu was a thriving royal city for nearly 100 years, filled with priests, workers, nobles, and servants, then where are all the people? Seriously, where did everyone go? And the deeper researchers look, the clearer one thing becomes. The story of Machu Picchu isn't finished yet. In fact, we may have only uncovered the beginning. If you enjoyed uncovering this mystery with us, make sure to subscribe for more fascinating discoveries, hidden histories, and unbelievable stories around the world. And trust me, the next one might be even stranger.